What's up, Schmoedown fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. Star Wars competitor Nicki Dimalanta.
Nicki Dimalanta.
Future Star Wars competitor Nicki Dimalanta?
Probably not.
Draft list hasn't come out yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. But yes, thank you for joining us on this episode. This is the first episode since a year ago.
Yeah.
That we are talking about we're not talking about matches.
Yeah, we missed our year anniversary.
Whoops, that was like what? That was December
16th,
16th or something like that. Yeah.
Oops.
How far we've come. It's been over a year since we started this podcast. And it's been a ride. But a couple of things to talk about. It's no matches, but there's plenty to talk about.
Oh, there's a lot.
Season's over. I mean,
the season's over, but the Schmoedown's not.
No, things have happened this past year. You know, champions crown, new champions crown, defending champions, still having belts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But things that are happening now in the Schmoedown are the Schmoedown Awards are around the corner. Nominations have come out. And also free agency. We're in the thick of free agency, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, boy.
It's getting heated, but
Lots of whispery conversations.
Oh,
lots
yeah.
of mystery.
But before we get into that, I think that's the meat of this episode's conversation. But let's just not quickly, but let's give our thoughts briefly.
Just casually walk through.
Casually walk through the nominations for this year's awards.
Yes.
So
Luckily, I'm prepared. And
we actually did our
have
homework.
I actually kind of have it queued up for once.
we don't have to fill the dead air. Like, oh, wait, let's look that up.
All right, I'll give you a topic
Whoops.
to discuss. No.
Okay.
Psych. I actually already have it.
Let's just go over. We'll go over. Let's go over the categories now, and then we'll give our thoughts.
So I
First
have, the order that they're in is being dictated by the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Twitter because it's their pin tweet, and that's where I'm getting this. So the first one that I'm seeing here is Singles Player of the Year.
Ooh, go.
I know. I kind of just started.
Yeah,
big.
let's look at
What
the
you want
very,
to go?
yeah,
The
down.
very bottom and start. Okay,
Yeah, go from the bottom now. We're here.
Let's start it from the bottom. So, all right, if I'm gonna go down, because that's probably like one of the big ones.
Singles player. Yeah.
So let's just not that any one has more value than the other.
Yeah, I know. There's more. You would say each category has its own prestige.
Yes. Okay, so here we go. New Team of the Year.
Ooh, okay. So nominations.
So we've got nominations: Final Exam, Deep 13, The Pride, Witching Power, Deception. Now, the thing that really perplexes me about this is that it feels like Final Exam has been around for much longer.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, because you got to remember this is the only team. No, I like as Tom and Paul were put together, but this is one of the only few teams that were created from the draft, because Founding Fathers, Corruption, Odd Couple, they've been together since what?
A while.
Oh, they've been together a while, and they were the product of last year's like mix up. The year before
Anarchy.
Anarchy. So those were Anarchy teams that are still together. Some are still together, others aren't. But this is one of the first teams that got drafted purposely to put them together.
Yeah.
And I think that's. I'm probably just giving my votes away because competitors and patrons get to vote. My vote is going.
True.
My vote is going to Final Exam because they had they ran into some mishaps and some speed bumps over the season, but they had a really good season. They had a very good season. And do they stay together for next season? Who knows? We'll see when we get to that part of the conversation. But my vote is for Final Exam.
Yeah, I'd have to say probably the same. I think D13 was a fun pairing.
They were fun. Yeah,
I just wish we could see more of them. We didn't really get to see them very much.
And they started off really hot, and then COVID happens. We don't see a lot of them, and then I think they weren't in the right mindset. Scheduling, yeah, like they just weren't in the right mindset to take their game to the next level.
Yeah.
Who was else on there? The Pride.
The Pride.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to see. I feel like they were a hot commodity in the beginning, and then who knows what happened.
And they ran into a speed bump, and they didn't get put into the teams tournament because of Tom and Paul.
Exactly.
Tom and Paul had a rough go this year.
Yeah, they did.
And they didn't even get a nomination.
Witching Power, we got to see them for 2 matches.
2 matches.
And
the last 2 nominations, the Witching Power and Deception, those are new teams
new teams. However, if I had to give my pick, it would also probably be for Final Exam.
Because they had, regardless of how they ended their season, they had a really good season together. And I really liked seeing them together. And their chemistry just was really good.
Good chemistry. They're fun.
So next category.
Interesting one. I want to say this is a new one.
Yeah, it is a new category, yeah.
Feud of the Year.
We didn't get a lot of you know what I mean? Like with this digital age, it's hard to pick. Like,
I mean,
this is one of the ones where
it's an interesting award that is kind of like, what?
And it's a new category, so it's kind of hard to define like what's a feud, and well, you know what a feud is, but it's like in this digital space, this digital era,
a little subjective.
Yeah,
you know. I mean, I feel kind of silly being like, well, what qualifies as a feud? You know, anything really could. It's a bit subjective, and I guess all of these that are on here are like, yeah, okay. No wonder you were nominated.
Yeah.
So we got Roxy and Shannon.
Yeah, that's a pretty big feud.
You know, you got Shannon and Winston. That's an obvious one. Then you got Dagnino Bateman, which honestly didn't really. Yeah, it didn't really.
It didn't build.
It didn't come to fruition until the end.
Yeah, the latter end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is on there?
Chandru Smets. Obvious, an obvious
that's an obvious one, but yeah.
And then Founding Fathers versus Corruption. I like that one too.
And God, this is one of like I'm sort of like these are all good, but really what stands out to me?
I think it's between two for me.
For me, it's Roxy Shannon, because these are two managers that they had competitors going at each other all season long.
Yeah,
they were constantly in the trash talk between matches and online is. Like, oh man, that's heated. A lot of these other ones was like they got started at the latter end of the season.
Okay.
Or they had a shelf life that was just like in our attention span for a very short time. Like the Chandru Smets one. It was building.
Yeah.
Then we didn't see it for a while because of COVID.
Yeah, it had its window.
It had its window, and then we got back into that window when the title match happened.
Yeah.
And then when the title match happened, we talked about it for a little bit, and then it kind of went away because Smash was competing. The Roxy Shannon one was going on all year with the competition, the trash talk. So my vote goes for them.
Yeah, the two gut answers, reactions that I had was Shannon Winston and Founding Fathers Corruption. I see what you're saying about Founding Fathers and Corruption. It was kind of like kind of high pressure, feud for that time. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and. It was one of those where it's like, the Founding Fathers Corruption dates back to like last season too, and then which makes it a really good rivalry.
But there was probably more material to go off of last season than this season.
Exactly, and then once the Founding Fathers lost the team belt to Corruption, it's like, oh yeah, that whole Dan Murrell like this ended at Spectacular. Once the Founding Fathers were knocked out of the tournament, it's like, well, I guess we're not going to see that rivalry continue.
Yeah,
and especially now how the season's ended and how Dan and Roka aren't a team anymore. That rivalry is pretty much dead now.
That's a good point.
So my vote is going towards Roxy and Shannon, because when you get those two on the screen together, it's like, oh my god,
fireworks.
It's fire.
Yeah. So you swayed me. It would be between, for me, Shannon and Winston. Roxy, Shannon.
Yeah, and Shannon's on there twice. So
I mean, she's good at what she does.
Yeah, she's good.
She's good at what she does, ladies and gentlemen. Faction of the year. This one's kind of hard when you have a actual winner. Well, but the same could be said about singles and teams, because there's belts for that too.
Yeah.
The same argument could be made.
But it's like
I feel like the obvious shoo-in for this one is Corruption.
Yeah, I mean, because like
the nominees, by the way, Corruption, Swag, Rockstars, Finstock Exchange, Quirky Mercs. I think it's very obvious.
It's very obvious
because
it's like football. We're about to hit the playoffs. Right now, we would say if you were to go week 11, who's the best team in the NFL? The Steelers. They're 11-0. But then they lose 3 straight, and like, you know what I mean? And then whoever wins the Super Bowl, it's like, are they not the best team of the year because they just won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
It's like, no, obviously they're the best because they won the title.
Yeah.
So this category was like Faction of the Year. Of course, it has to be Corruption. They won the season.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But to say what the other nominees, Swag has a big argument because they have Chandru, his IG title. Ace went on that amazing run in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Final Exam had a really good year. It's just they didn't end the season with the belts.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think the Exchange or the Mercs have any
they don't
chance
really
of winning this.
Have a shot at it.
And I don't really think the Rockstars have much of a chance at winning it. But they turn up the heat in the second part of the season.
Yeah, Snyder going to the final.
If you look at Corruption, they started from the bottom. Now they're here.
Yeah, I mean that's just the fact. Not only the fact if they would have ended the season in second place, then you would say like, yeah, they have a really good argument because they were dead last at the beginning of the season and they clawed their way to the top. But the fact that they won the Faction competition, the faction. I'm hesitating to say war because that's the title of the next season.
Ooh, right.
They won they won the standings. They were at the top of the standings at the end of the year. So it's kind of like, duh.
Yeah, I think they're shoo-in for this one.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It's, lots of upsets are happening everywhere, so who knows? We'll see how much of the kiss of death we have for our predictions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. Well, because it's hard to like to hide my votes. Like, this is who I'm voting for when I submit my ballot.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, are you allowed to do that? Is that okay?
I mean, why wouldn't it?
I don't know.
It's one
It's
vote.
not like you're deciding the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like one vote for
It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, it's a drop in the bucket. There's thousands of other people voting on this.
Yeah.
And other podcasters are doing it too. There's plenty of other competitors on podcasts, Ben Bateman,
true.
and then Backstage, and they
Giving their thoughts.
I mean, I could switch my vote up, and like somebody could say something on Twitter. It's like, hey, Andrew, remember this? It's like, oh yeah,
right.
That's right. So I'm saying who I will most likely vote for,
right,
when I submit my ballot.
It's not like you're saying, hey, guess what, everybody, this person,
won. Yeah, I have no say. It's like, hey, no, they're not getting it. This person's actually getting it.
Just making sure we're not crossing any lines.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I have no insider information. I have no direct line. I mean, I do have a direct line to Christian, but who knows if he's going to answer my questions? You know what I mean?
Valid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one, podcast of the year. So we've got nominees, a certain point of view, call to action, let's get ready, repeat the question, Machine Mondays.
So let's just get the elephant out of the room. We weren't nominated.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? I mean, would we want to be recognized for the work we do every week? And yeah, sure. Who doesn't want to be recognized for their work? But we said it before when we started this a year ago. We didn't start this to get popularity, and we're certainly not getting paid for this.
Certainly not.
I mean, we do monetize our videos. We've made like $6 on YouTube.
Drinks on us.
And a lot of that maybe it has a lot to do with the show. I put other content on this channel as well, so that whatever. But we started this to because we would spend hours talking about the Schmoedown. Like, hey, we should just record this and see what people think.
Yeah, when Andrew said that to me a little over a year ago, and he's like, hey, do you think it'd be fun to maybe just do a podcast? We're already talking about it all the time. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't think anybody's going to listen. I'm like, sure, I guess. Yeah. So here we are a year later, just over a year later. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm shocked people listen. Like, honestly, the fact that I could look on YouTube and see that the view count is
more than zero,
greater than zero, it's pretty cool.
It's me too. I'm flattered that people listen to us. I'm surprised people, and we have this core group of fans that listen every week and they comment every week, which is
mind blowing.
And I'm so incredibly grateful for them, because like just seeing them, it's like, oh, there's that comment again. Thanks for listening. I'm glad you listen, and like.
That's just so cool.
Yeah.
Like, it blows me away that anybody actually listens and enjoys it.
Yeah. And I understand why we didn't get nominated, because people on that list, they put a lot of effort into it. Like having guests on the last guest we had on the show was.
It's been a minute.
It's been a while. And the last guest we had was Nerd Chronic. That was months ago.
Yeah.
And
that's a long time ago.
Yeah. It's like, could we put all that energy and all that stuff? It's like, yeah, sure. But it's like, we just don't really have the time for it, because, our schedule is so like. Up in the air sometimes. It's like, well, will we even get an episode up this week? Because it's so hard to find the time to do all that.
And with guests and everything, if being on the East Coast, it's kind of hard with like time differences.
Yeah, some people are in different time zones. Most of everybody's on the West Coast. Yeah. So it's hard to just line up our schedules. And sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we have a concrete time. We're going to meet this time. We don't know we can meet at that concrete time anymore. Right.
So, or it's like, hey, we're going to have you on. And by the way, it's 11:00 p.m. your time. It's like, uh-oh.
Oops.
Well, I got bad news for you. Yeah. I'm going to be asleep.
Yeah, so I understand why we didn't get a nomination. And am I, angry at that?
Not at all.
Not really. It's like I would love to have gotten a nomination to be recognized and put in this category. But there are shows on there that put forth the effort and a lot of work, and they most certainly deserve those nominations. Yeah. So, and I to be honest, I don't listen to all of them. It's so hard to keep with all the shows now.
Yeah, there's so much content.
Yeah, there's so much stuff, and we have our own stuff that going on in our own personal life. I have a title that I'm trying to contend for, and this is a lot of stuff going on. Yeah. But I would certainly think, judged on the things that we're hearing, certain point of view has a really, really big shot at it.
Pretty sure they're gonna.
Pretty sure they're gonna win it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Yeah. Am I losing any sleep? Guarantee you, no. So.
no, and there was that whole business of like who is eligible. For
yeah, because
right?
at one point, you heard people in the Facebook group that I'm for some reason still a part of. At one point, I think when they released like the first initial like list of people that were up.
Or
to
like
be nominated.
A poll of who Christian thinks should be nominated.
Right.
Yeah.
And I guess Machine Mondays wasn't on there.
Yeah.
And I know that Janine had made a post in I think the Facebook group or Twitter or both, or I don't know, one or the other. And she was like, well,
yeah, I would be glad to be on that list.
Kind of sucks to not be on there,
Yeah.
but it would be nice. And then, there was all this chatter. There was,
who is eligible, like
who's eligible, who's not. And at one point it was like, well, active competitor, not really eligible, beyond the Schmoedown, not eligible, active competitor. And then it just kind of was like, actually,
we're going to consider them for this season, but next year it'll be different.
Yeah, because otherwise, certain point of view, they'd be out too.
Yeah.
Because they have an active
and they're
competitor.
insanely popular podcasts. So
exactly. So
next year it'll be different, I'm sure, which means we'll probably won't be able to be nominated next year either.
Oh, no. What am I going to do?
Like I said, it's just fun to talk Schmoedown. That's why we do
Exactly.
it. Because who else
Because honestly, we were going to do it either way, so now we just have microphones. And some people actually enjoy it for some reason, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're here,
thank you.
gotcha, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for humoring us and listening to us.
It's wild that people listen
I mean,
still listen.
We said it to the call to action people. They're like, "Oh man, we love your show." It's like, really? You listen too?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was Danny, right?
Danny and I forgive me, the other guys. I forget everybody's name. I'm terrible with names if they're not Star Wars names.
Yeah. Well, good. Purge it all if it's not a Star Wars name. Jiminy
But yeah,
Christmas.
like several of them came up. It was like, yeah, we love your show. Hopefully you can get nominations.
I feel like I had a lengthy conversation with Danny after several drinks
Yes.
in a bar in LA. So, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we would do this anyway. Just now we have the microphones.
We have microphones in front and a camera on us.
And you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So welcome. It's like we're hanging out.
Yeah. So yeah, I think certain point of view.
I think so too.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, again, I guess I'll vote for them because it's hard to listen to people regularly.
Very.
Yeah.
And I'm, very transparent about that. I haven't at all. So I'm sorry.
I mean, I subscribe to you guys, and I try to tune in when I can, but it's just so hard to keep up with everything.
So much
with everything that's going on in
personal life and in everything. There's just not enough hours in the day. I wish there were.
I go to bed. I still got to wake up and take care of my kid and do my work.
Exactly.
So,
and I'm sure a lot of people are like, "Oh, your kid is your excuse for everything."
No,
it's
then
like,
I gotta. Well, I also gotta work. So we gotta pay bills somehow, and I also have to study. Find some time to study in that too. So
yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is. We actually went on. We were just like, well, we won't drone on about this, but we droned on about it. Sorry.
I figure,
I mean, we're
might as well not be weird about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
The next tweet, the next set. All right. I mean, okay.
Sure.
So we got Player of the Year.
Do you want to save that for last?
All right. That's why I had that reaction.
Yeah, let's save that for last.
Rookie of the Year.
I mean, let's go through the nominations.
Rookie of the Year, we got Adam. Okay. Well,
just go through the list.
We got Adam Collins, Barbarian, Ben Goddard, Marisol McKee, Kevin Smith. Adam Collins probably going to win this one. I love Craig. I love Ben Goddard.
Yeah.
And I've never met Marisol McKee or Kevin Smith, but I'm pretty certain we all know what's going to happen.
This is one of those where it's like, duh. I mean, the guy, he has one loss to his record this season. And he came in, he came in the latter end of the season.
Yeah.
But look what he did. Just look what he did.
He made some noise.
He is the singles champion. Yeah. He beat Dan Murrell for the title.
He won a free-for-all.
In his rookie season.
He's undefeated in singles. Like, that's wild.
It's a no-brainer. And, like, again, at the beginning of the season, Ben Goddard was making big splashes.
Oh, and everybody was, like, predicting him for Rookie of the Year.
Barbarian making some really good splashes. Mm-hmm. Then you get to the latter half of the season, we don't see Goddard at all.
Right.
And
Kevin Smith, I'm not sure why he's on here.
He has 2 wins.
I guess, I don't know. But, like, it's going to be Adam Collins.
It's going to be Adam Collins.
And if it's not, we are the kiss of death.
Yes.
But actually not really, because everybody's predicting it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I would like to think that 90 to 95% of people are going to predict Adam Collins for this win.
Yeah, and when I submit my ballot, it's Adam Collins. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm, like I said, I love Craig. I love Ben.
Oh, yeah. But
I think even they'd be like, yeah.
Come on. Guy has one loss.
Yeah.
hand is a title. So
that one I think is pretty
yeah, that's pretty
cut and dry.
Fairly cut and dry.
Cut and dry.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. There's a lot to debate here.
Oh, is it the one that I'm thinking?
Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah.
We've got. I mean, all right.
Yeah.
We've got Andres Cabrera,
Mm-hmm.
Lon Harris, Liz Shannon Miller,
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Snyder, Perry Nemiroff.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that would probably help in this discussion is it would probably help to be Frankie Numbers and have a bunch of stats in my brain.
Yeah.
That would probably help.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think it would also help for this specific category,
To have
this
the
specific award,
well-defined.
to have well-defined criteria for what defines
Yeah.
a comeback. Because I think that I think there's a lot of healthy debate
Yeah.
about the nominees here.
Yeah.
Mainly because of the inclusion of Andres Cabrera.
Yeah.
I think is a safe conclusion to draw from the conversations I've seen.
And also a name I'll also throw in there, like why, like it's curious that this person on there is Perry Nemiroff. I mean,
yeah. They're kind of in a similar boat.
they're in a similar boat.
Yeah, you're right. They're kind of
They're
in a similar
very in a
boat.
similar boat because Ace, again, I'm not discrediting what he did in the tournament.
Not at all.
His improvement through that tournament and the run he went on is,
Absolutely commendable.
It
Like,
speaks for itself.
Yeah.
He went through some really good competitors.
exactly.
But to call him a comeback player there, it's like coming back from what exactly?
And I understand the argument.
I do.
Because I actually did watch a bit of the rundown.
Yeah.
And Brad was kind of saying, okay, well, Frank started off saying that and I hope I'm paraphrasing it correctly, so I'm not like misrepresenting what they said.
Yeah.
Fact check me and go watch the rundown.
Yeah.
But Frank was basically saying like, kind of like that, like come back from what? Like, yeah, he had a bad game. He got knocked out in Inner Geekdom.
Yeah.
And then he did what he did in Star Wars. And then prior to that, he hadn't played since what, 2015?
Yeah.
He only played one match.
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
Yeah.
And then Brad seems to be on the other side of the conversation saying, yeah, exactly. He didn't play well in 2015. That was the last time he played. And then he obviously didn't do well in IG. And then he just took off in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a pretty good comeback. He made a sports analogy where he was like, your beloved White Sox, I think he said.
Let's transform that into like a football, because you'll understand football better. So like,
yes.
Say it's the fourth quarter, your team's down freaking 21 points, 30 points. And then they just go on this amazing scoring run. Every possession, they get a touchdown.
And they end up winning.
Yeah, and they end up winning, coming back 30. Like,
Yeah.
the game that comes to mind, my favorite quarterback of all time, Peyton Manning, came back from
Tom Brady? That's
no,
weird.
came back from a 30-point-ish deficit, I believe, against my Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the fourth quarter.
Whoops.
Yeah.
And then Brad was saying, basically, with that type of sports analogy, is that not a comeback?
Yeah.
And it's like, yes. And then I think Frank's counter argument to that was like, yes, but that's one game. When you talk about the season as a whole, are they really the comeback team because of one
instance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were kind of going back and forth. And I kind of find myself in the same camp as Frank.
As Frank, yeah, me too.
And I'm speaking as objectively as I can because I think the problem is that there's no defined
criteria.
Well, this is what you have to be looking at. They have to have played X amount of years prior to this, or whatever. I just feel like there's room to be it's a gray area because the way I look at it, yes, I understand that he had a not good showing in IG.
Yeah.
And then he came back from that to do what he did in Star Wars. I just don't really think that
cross-divisional play should really matter unless it involves your entire season.
Kinda.
And so, like in that case, like say a cross-divisional player like Barbarian, he say he had like an okay, not the best showing in all three divisions,
right?
And then the next season he comes back and competes for the title in all three divisions. That's a comeback, because you're lumping all his accomplishments in all three divisions.
Right. But what if he improved in like one division but not so much in the other? Would you still consider him a comeback player?
I still think so, because how's his play in that division?
Okay.
So
because the way we're looking at it is like, yes, IG didn't go well, Star Wars did. But
it's all in the same season.
It's all in the same season, first of all. He hasn't played for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel like that's relevant to this.
Especially since the game's so different.
The game is incredibly different. And also, I don't remember in 2015 what division did he play in.
I think it was teams.
Okay, and that really doesn't have anything to do with this conversation. Because
teams.
the whole reason for the discussion of Ace is the Star Wars run.
Yeah.
And
which is an amazing run.
Yes. And the thing that nullifies it for me is that he's a rookie in the Star Wars division. Come back from what?
Yeah, you didn't come back from anything.
You didn't come back from anything. The IG loss, it's a different division.
Yeah.
So then maybe next year I debut in singles because I know that I'm just going to the bed.
Yeah.
And then I go in Star Wars and do well. Does that make me a comeback player?
Because, by that definition, yes.
You know?
But I think just by thinking of the standard, I think my definition of a comeback player is what you did, taking into account what you did the previous season.
Yeah.
And compare it to this current season. Because by that definition, I can't remember exactly how he did last season.
Yeah.
But compared to this season, Jeff Snyder should be the comeback player of the year.
Yeah, that's where I need to be Frankie because I don't know all those stats.
I don't remember exactly how his entire season went last season. I just don't remember it being... I don't remember it being really
spectacular.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't something that like, oh man, Jeff Snyder is somebody look, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you compare it to this season, Jeff went on an amazing run.
He did fantastic this season.
He went to the finals of the singles tournament, and he won the first 3-time teams champion ever in the history of the Schmoedown.
Can't deny that.
You can't deny that. So by that definition, based off of what he did last season compared to what he did this season, my vote is going to Jeff Snyder for comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and I would agree because if in 2015, and I don't mean to say that it's only between Jeff and Andres because Lon, Liz, Perry are all fantastic players in their own respect. But I just think that this seems to be the debate that I've seen most often on the internet.
Yeah.
So in 2015, Andres didn't play in IG.
No.
So he is.
It was either teams or singles. I can't remember.
Okay, well, not IG or Star Wars.
Yeah.
So he's not a rookie by definition, but he was a rookie to IG and Star Wars. Come back from what? That's the way I'm looking at it. Because you had a poor showing in this division one time, and then you did really well in that division. I feel like anybody who wants to win comeback player of the year, that's your formula, you know? And I'm not saying that Andres did it on purpose. Of course, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like, I just looking at Star Wars, it's like, this is your first year in Star Wars. Come back from what? You know, that's the way I look at it. I know not everybody agrees. And what he did in Star Wars was nothing short of brilliant.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my 2 cents.
This is the one point of the Schmoedown where it is very objective.
Subjective?
Subjective. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Sorry. So
I'm trying to be objective, but this is very subjective.
Yeah, these awards are very subjective. It's like based off of what I've seen.
Especially this one.
Yeah, this is who I feel deserves this award.
Yeah.
And you can put arguments for everybody because Liz Shannon Miller, you know, had a decent season last season. Then she came back and who did she knock? She knocked out somebody in the tournament. I can't remember. God. But like
no business asking me.
Yeah, and then
I don't remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah, Lon Harris, similar situation. Not a great season last year, but then has a really good run with Final Exam. So
yeah, and Perry kind of like I would have the same argument as Ace because she hadn't played for a number of years as well. Come back from what?
Like
I mean, you played several years ago.
Yeah, you didn't play last season, and now you're. And she has probably, and we'll get to that category soon. Like who she beat in the singles tournament.
Yeah,
oof, that's all. That's a really big saying, but I don't think it has much to say about this category.
So that's why,
in our opinion,
I would like to. Yeah, that's always the asterisk. Is it's in our opinion, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But like that's why I'd like to see maybe some more defined rules for comeback player of the year specifically. Is it any compared
season?
To any part of your career?
Yeah,
any season, or is it looking at your the most previous year?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, two of these people probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But if the criteria was open to your whole career, then yeah. But that's why I'm just kind of like, I don't know, because the way I'm looking at this, the way I would define it.
Yeah, maybe rebrand it as the most improved player. I mean, even then you get in some gray areas too.
It's kind of, it's not, potato.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
Same kind of argument, so.
I don't know.
That's
our 2 cents. 2 cents. Probably worth one, but you know, I don't know.
I like that.
But
that was good.
If I
hope I hit the right button. Nope.
Shut up, stupid.
Got him. There it is.
Nice.
We got there.
Got him. But yeah, if I had to give my vote, it would be to Jeff Snyder.
That's where my vote is going, is Jeff Snyder.
Because, it's kind of like, what are we doing here? What is a comeback
in my definition of a comeback player
Yes.
Jeff Snyder is my vote.
Yes, absolutely. So, manager of the year.
Oh my God.
I think it's pretty whatever.
We've-
Shannon
yeah.
Barney, Winston Marshall, Roxy Stryer, Coy Jeandrew, not Jandrew, right?
Jeandrew, yeah.
John.
Jeandrew.
I'm sure I'm still saying it wrong. Funny how it's the exact same managers for Faction of the Year. It makes sense. That tracks.
That tracks.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, for
My vote goes to Shannon.
we said it in previous episodes, like Shannon is a lock for manager of the year.
She's a lock.
Yeah,
and because I think, yes, huge feather in your cap that you won the faction race. But I think also because, I don't know.
I think Adam Collins has a lot to do with
Yes. Earlier on in the season, I think a lot of people gave Shannon a lot of flack if
for
you will,
drafting.
for our
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I feel like earlier on in the year, when IG was happening, probably is specifically what I'm referring to. I feel like a lot of people gave Shannon a hard time for like, well, it's all just Chance and Mike, and they're the only ones doing anything for you on your team. Nice to have Chance
Yeah.
and Mike, 2-3 division players who crush it. You're just leaning on those two players.
Yeah. Enter Adam Collins and Marisol McKee.
Exactly. But also, why wouldn't I draft Chance and Mike? Duh.
Yeah.
But she also picked up not Chance, Adam Collins and Marisol McKee.
In free agency.
In
Or no, sorry. I think Marisol.
Adam Collins was free agency.
I think Marisol was drafted.
I think Marisol was drafted.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to shift most of my focus to Adam Collins. But Marisol, she made a splash in the singles division. She made a splash in the teams division with Deception with Adam Collins. I just think that I don't know, ace in the hole for Shannon is Adam Collins because she took this guy from relative obscurity. And I feel like I just said that word weird. Obscurity.
Yeah.
I feel like I just said obscurity. But she took this guy out of basically felt like nowhere in free agency. And oh my God.
Yeah, this run that he went on.
Like, I feel like when you look at a manager, you draft Chance and Mike. Cool. Yeah, you draft
they're gonna
Shazam.
perform.
Cool. Yeah, you draft Founding Fathers. Cool. You know what they can do with or without a manager.
Yeah.
Not to discredit the work that they do with their managers, but
Yeah.
when you get a powerhouse team like that,
You know what
I think
you're
it's
getting.
obvious what you're getting. But when you can take somebody out of free agency,
Yeah. When everybody else, when he's available to everybody else.
and nobody was probably even barely looking at him, and to take that person and coach and guide them to where he is now at the top of the mountain, that's.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, you can't really fight against that.
And I think the other person in this conversation, everybody's trying to
Winston.
Roxy Stryer.
Oh, word. Yeah.
Because of what she did with Odd Couple, and that is another side of the coin.
That's a team I should have referenced before when I talked about powerhouse teams too.
Yeah, but I get their argument for Roxy because another half of a manager's job is to keep your players' heads in the game, and Roxy has been known to do that for almost every single one of her players, for the most part,
Mainly
right?
the Odd Couple,
and mainly Jeff Snyder.
Yeah,
it's because Jeff is, and again, there's no flack on Jeff. He is probably the best teams player we've ever seen. The best teams player we've ever seen. He's on the verge of getting that singles title because I can't remember how much he's improved. Like 20% of his accuracy rate is improved.
Oh yeah, it was like 20 or 23%.
Something like that.
Somebody posted something.
Yeah,
about improvement percentages.
But the guy, you know what you're getting with Jeff Snyder, but you also know the other side of Jeff Snyder. You get that he gets in his head a lot. He defeats himself even before the game is done.
Yeah.
And Roxy repeatedly, even last season, is like, dude, get your head back in the game.
Yeah, stop
It's not
this.
over. Stop it. And that's a big argument for who should you vote for her as manager of the year. It's a really good argument, and I've actually said it's a big part that managers have to deal with.
It's true.
It's not just drafting and assembling your teams. It's coaching your players, making sure they're not defeating themselves, and making sure they're in the right mindset. Like, hey, we got the momentum back. Let's get back into it.
And at one point, I know Mark and Draco in one of their matches, I forget which one, the one with the unbirthday, that he was like, I know he gave credit to, I think, both Jeff and Roxy because he was like, if I was left to my own devices, I probably wouldn't have challenged that.
Yeah.
But he had Roxy there for support, and she helped nudge that along.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that swayed the match.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly if that won the match or if it just helped the momentum.
It helped the momentum out a lot. But I think if Collins doesn't go on this unbelievable run of his,
yeah,
it's not clear cut
It's not.
For me, it's clear cut that Shannon, Shannon picking Collins out of free agency when nobody really was aware of who he is this like this next level type of thing. It's like, yeah, manager of the year right there. But Roxy does have a really an argument saying like, yeah, this is the other side of managing that people don't seem to be paying attention to.
It's true.
Constantly ignore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she does have, for me, she's a close second, but my vote is going Shannon just because of the Adam Collins, and they won the faction race.
Yeah,
so.
she's just got, they've all got credits to their name, but the fact that Shannon started in the bottom.
Yeah, and that's another thing. She was at the bottom of the barrel for a long time.
And nobody can really make the argument, because I know for a long time, like I said, it was all, oh, it's Mike and Chance. They're the only ones doing anything, blah, blah, blah. But somebody, I forget who, I should probably give credit.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. Somebody posted something about how many players from each faction of 10 contributed points to their team's final total. And I think Corruption was the team that had the most. I think it was like 7 or 8 out of 10 players that contributed at least a point to their final score, which is commendable. You really can't say it's just Mike and Chance at that point.
Yeah.
Did they do a lot of heavy lifting? Sure.
Yeah.
But so did Adam Collins.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. I mean, he did knockout after knockout.
Yeah, and I don't know what that number is for the Rocks, formerly known rock stars.
I mean, I think it was Jeff, Mark and Stacy, and Alex. I think it was 4 out of 10 that gave her points, if I'm not mistaken. I think those were the ones.
So that has to be taken into account as well, for me at least. So, yeah, my vote's going Shannon, just for everything that we just mentioned.
Yeah.
So, next category.
Here we go.
Trying not to drone on.
Whoops.
We're supposed to breeze over these.
Entrance of the year. This is pretty cut and dry for me too. Here we go. It's the Flirt and Flouse versus Kevin Smith. Real Rejects versus The Pride. Also Real Rejects versus Cuckoo's Mess. Bonnie Somerville versus McKee. And Shazam versus Final Exam.
So Real Rejects is in there twice for...
One was that...
The mask.
Anonymous mask. And the other was for the cool. Really cool.
That is where my vote is going.
Yeah,
because
I would be voting for that.
Yeah,
both of those entrances. I wish I could split my vote in half and give it to both of those Real Rejects entrances, because they both got genuine laughter out of me, and it really made me go, how have I not appreciated the Real Rejects before?
Yeah, because we always, like, it's so hard to forget that, like, hey, there's other parts of the show that other people enjoy. Yeah. I love the competition, people take it so seriously, but then there's the other part that the Real Rejects shine in.
Yeah.
And I think the one, I think it was the one against the Pride where they did the cool, really cool.
Yeah, I don't remember which one was which.
But and it's so hard to pick an entrance because all these happened. Almost all of them happened.
Well, it was like probably 25% of them happened in the studio. The other 75% happened digitally, which is it's tough, and it's not. It's hard to compare a physical entrance to a digital entrance. I'm
surprised that I'm shouting out to Alex Damon, his Inner Geekdom one when he had the I can't remember what it's called.
Indiana Jones, the skull, the crystal skull.
The crystal skull, the golden thing, and he's like introduced and goes, "Oh, I'll handle that later."
Yeah, you really enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed it. It was so subtle, but it hit the mark for me on all points. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Give him at least like a mention.
A nod.
If you will. Because I thoroughly enjoyed that entrance.
That was fun. But yeah, I'd be giving...
my gut says people are going to be voting for
I think the Flirt and Flouse is going to win.
Yeah. But I'm voting for the Real Rejects versus the Den.
If I could, I'd vote for Real Rejects, both entrances.
Yeah.
Upset of the year.
Ooh.
We have Perry Nemiroff beats Mike Kalinowski. Cabrera beats Kelly. Collins beats Roca. Ellison beats Parker. Cabrera beats Dimalanta. So,
I don't want to win. I don't want to win for losing.
As the second part of that equation, you don't want to. You don't want to win.
Yeah, but my vote is going for Nemiroff over Kalinowski.
Honestly,
because at this point, when Ace, because Cabrera versus upset over me. At this point, we all know what Ace is capable of now.
He was fresh off of beating Kelly.
Yeah, so we know exactly what he's able to do. The Collins versus Roca is hard.
It's hard to make. That's the other thing. Yeah. This one is so subjective because if you look at Adam Collins, now that we're looking back on the year, it doesn't seem like an upset because look what he's done.
Yeah, at the time, it's like, oh my God.
At the time, it was like, oh my God, he just beat John Roca.
He knocked out John Roca.
In a TKO.
Yeah, it's like, geez. But my vote goes to Nemiroff over Kalinowski just because we know how insane Kalinowski is, what
Yeah.
a really big competitor he is, and Nemiroff is coming back from, not
Years off.
years off, years. I mean, she competed in a couple exhibitions, so
Yeah.
she's getting her feet wet in those. But like, this is big time.
To jump right back into a tournament.
Yeah. And then to beat one of the premier competitors in this league, a triple threat. I mean, that says a lot. I mean, my vote is going Nemiroff, Kalinowski.
Honestly, Perry, there's no shade
Yeah.
at all. I didn't think she had a chance.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, because when you look at Ace defeating over me, it's like people are like, all right, I'm done doubting Ace and all that jazz. When you looked at Nemiroff, Kalinowski, it's like, we all know how this is going to end up.
That's how I felt.
That's how pretty much everybody felt, and then you get to that final round, it's like, oh, what?
And Ellison beating Parker, hard to call that an upset because Parker is a rookie.
Yeah.
He just had a bunch of talk around his name.
Yeah.
Chance is a former champion in the division in which he beat Parker. No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's a former champion in a different division. But
Whoops. Anyways.
But again, championships in other divisions give you a little bit of clout.
I'm thinking of Kalinowski, my
Yeah.
bad. But the fact of the matter is that it's Chance Ellison, a former champion.
Yeah. And Kalinowski's
in
a former
another
champion.
division.
Kalinowski's a former champion in a different division, but it's basically almost the same type of, division. It's
With
just,
teams and singles.
With teams and singles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
So-
arguably a similarly questioned division.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So-
I don't know. I have a hard time looking at Ellison beating Parker as an upset.
Yeah.
Because they were both rookies to that division. My bad. Ellison is not a previous belt holder in that division. I got excited and I was
And
thinking about
Nelson's
Mike.
not a rookie into the IG division. He had also previously competed in the 5-way.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So
Okay, well listen. The fact of the matter stands is that it's Chance Ellison, and I don't really have a hard time looking at Chance Ellison beating a rookie and calling it an upset.
yeah.
The rookie is a rookie.
Yeah.
He had a lot of talk around his name. Not trying to say anything about his gameplay and that he wasn't, worth the talk or he's not as good as the talk, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
Talk. And he is a complete brand new rookie to the game. And then you got Chance Ellison, who is very not a rookie to the game.
Yeah.
I have a hard time calling that
Yeah.
an upset that took way too long. And I'm sorry for all the errors.
Yeah. So let's go
Just
ahead.
get excited.
So yeah, my vote going Perry Nemiroff over Kalinowski.
I think I do the same.
Yeah. So next.
Moment of the year.
Ooh.
Merle versus Collins post-interview. Shannon drafts Dewberry and breaks up the Wild Berries. Merle versus Bateman with the I won. Bibiani versus Andreyko Spectacular 5. Smith gives Jericho Kevin Smith movies.
So this is one of those categories where it's like, oh man, there's this, I don't know, but like, because there are a lot of like moments have like big shock moments,
Yeah.
and then they sort of linger and they sort of fade away. You know what I mean? The one that doesn't do that for me is Shannon drafting and breaking up. Shannon drafting Dewberry and breaking up the Wild Berries
Because it had repercussions.
It has repercussions throughout the entire league.
People talked about it all
people
season,
talked about it all
basically.
season. It ended up in Makuga retiring from competition.
Yeah,
So it
that's
has
true.
a lot of effect. And I remember being there at the draft and like Shannon going, you know what? Fine. Ella Dewberry were breaking up and everybody in the room was like,
Everyone lost their
"What?"
minds. It was great.
Oh my God.
That's true. It had a big old ripple effect,
had
and
a
now Josh is
huge-
retired because of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. You swayed me.
Yeah, so my vote is that.
Yes.
So, and not to say that these other moments aren't impactful. It's just like, come on, man. Like the Wild Bears breaking up was tragic for everybody.
Yeah. It was upsetting.
Not just the Wild Bears.
Yeah. So, match of the year.
God, there's so many nominations.
There's so many. Let's just go through them.
Yeah. Let's try to keep just like name the one that we were voting for and just talk about it.
Merle Collins.
Yeah.
Merle Bateman, 1. Odd Couple Final Exam. Dimalanta Scrimshaw. Dimalanta Cabrera. Corruption Founding Fathers. Merle Bibiani, The Kid. Merle Bateman, 2. Odd Couple Shazam. Smith Jericho.
So, if I do win for one
I
of
wish
these,
I could give a couple votes.
if I end up winning this category, I hope for the one that I won the match and not the one that I lost.
I
Let's
would
put that out
agree.
there. But
I
I
agree.
think is Merle
Merle Collins.
Collins. That's my vote because look at everything about it.
It was a wild
Rookie
match.
phenom, best of all time to going at it. It went into 7 questions in overtime. It ping-ponged back and forth at one point. It's the main event at Spectacular.
Yep.
It's for the title.
A rookie versus arguably the GOAT
Yes.
of the Schmoedown.
It ticks all the boxes, and this match was just so unbelievable to watch.
Yeah, David and Goliath over here.
Exactly. So
yeah, it's hard to argue against that one, but if
Yeah.
I had a second vote, it'd go to Dimalanta Scrimshaw.
Yeah.
All right.
So...
Oh my God, we got 8 more.
Oh,
No, yeah, 8 more. Fuck. Heel team of the year: Corruption, The Pride, Deception, Odd Couple, Category 9.
Corruption, yeah.
I mean, I have a hard time defining Odd Couple as a heel team because I don't look at Mark Andreyko as a heel. I think he's probably
It's mostly Jeff.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've
think
only been in his
Corruption.
presence like one time, and he probably doesn't even remember it. It was in Chicago.
Yeah, I think he listens to the show, though, but...
I don't know,
I
but
don't
he
know.
seemed like a really sweet guy.
Oh, yeah, no, he's an awesome
and
guy.
I'd love to talk to him more, but I didn't get the chance.
But yeah, my vote's Corruption.
But yeah, I'd say Corruption.
All right, let's try to breeze through these next ones.
Heel of the year: Shannon Barney, Chandru, Brandon Hanna, Jeff Snyder, Elliot Dewberry, Laura Kelly.
I mean, Chandru is close second for me, but it has to be Shannon. It has to be Shannon.
It's got to be Shannon, but also Chandru just gets under your skin. So,
my vote is Shannon, though. Just
him and
because,
his like his little dances
yeah.
and stuff.
Again, but again, my argument is he's an IG player, and we really don't talk about him unless IG is happening. Shannon's there the entire season talking trash,
yeah,
and she's real good at it.
she is.
So my vote is Shannon.
Yeah, and Elliot Dewberry we didn't see enough of him.
Exactly.
I would say Shannon, with my second choice being Chandru.
Yeah.
Babyface team of the year:
Mm-hmm.
Shazam, Final Exam, Witching Power, Real Rejects, Founding Fathers. I have a hard time defining Founding Fathers as a babyface team,
Yeah.
but whatever.
I'd say it's for me.
I mean, anytime Brendan Meyer is in a babyface conversation, I'm like, he's Brendan Meyer.
For me, it's kind of a tie between Shazam and Real Rejects, because we remember, especially how you've reacted to them. It's like, why have I not
How
been
have I
paying-
overlooked these
Yeah,
guys and not
exactly.
appreciated them?
So I'm flip-flopping on which one to vote, but I'm kind of leaning towards Shazam just because, like, when they won the titles, I was genuinely happy for those two.
yeah.
So
And I have a hard time defining Final Exam as a babyface team when Lon has his like rebel delinquent character. Like
Yeah.
he's not a heel, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just certain things that get into my head and I'm like, I just can't even see that
Yeah.
team or that person. I don't
yeah.
know, whatever.
So my vote is either Shazam or Real Rejects.
Agreed. Babyface of the year: The Kid, Kevin Smith, Koi Jandrew, Andres Cabrera, Perry Nemiroff.
I mean, let's see. I mean, Brendan won it last season.
He's just like,
He's just-
they should just call it
The Brendan Meyer Award. I would honestly say Koi Andrew, just because of his
His
attitude.
positivity is infectious.
Yeah. So that's who I'm voting for.
Same with Brendan too.
Yeah. I mean, Brendan's a close second. Again, he won it last year too, I believe.
And it doesn't go without saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nominees. 4 of them are from the Mercs.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
And when
and
you're
look at Koi Jandrew, the king of the baby faces, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
I'm most likely
actually,
to
yeah.
be voting for Koi.
good argument. All right, here we go. Star Wars Player of the Year.
It's a new
Not
category.
really much to talk about here.
It's a
Yeah,
new category.
new category all of a sudden. I think it's pretty obvious who we're giving this one to.
Yeah.
But we got Andres Cabrera, Alex Damon, Laura Kelly, Andrew Dimalanta, Molly Damon. I think it's pretty obvious it's going
it's
to
going to
Andres
be
Cabrera,
Ace,
no
and-
doubt.
And yeah, Damon is nominated, and somebody did put forth an argument. It's like, yeah, Alex has only competed once this year.
Can't hold that against him. He's a
You
belt
can't
holder.
you can't hold it against him, but look what he did.
Yeah.
The Golden Boy Ace Cabrera coming out of the tournament.
You're talking about something, and I wish I remembered more about it.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, wow, yeah, I didn't think about it from that angle.
Yeah, he only competed once, but he knocked out the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you also take into account if this is the first year we're giving the Star Wars Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And people have all, and like I think for Player of the Year, Rachel Cushing is like, let's look at the person's legacy. It's no comparison to what Alex has done for the division and done in the division. So
Yes.
that's the only wrench I'll throw into this, but it's gonna be Ace.
Oh, 100%.
It's
It's
100% gonna be Ace. I mean, I'm voting for him because his run is, you can't argue his run.
Yeah.
So
Not too much discussion there. I
Yeah.
think we all know what's going to happen.
yeah,
Inner Geekdom Player of the
this is a
Year:
little tougher.
Chandru, Chance,
Mm-hmm.
Kalinowski, Brandon Hanna, Alex Damon.
So I
I-
mean, the easy vote is Chandru because he He's the champion. He's
Right.
the first one to defend it since Inman in 2016,
Right.
I believe. But also, Chance had a really good showing.
Yeah, it's a similar argument to the Star Wars one.
Mm-hmm.
Chandra we didn't see him much because he was holding the belt. Chance
He had to
tore
go
through an IG tournament.
Yeah, and he
so,
beat Kalinowski, who's a former
Yeah.
two-time champion.
So by the logic that we use for Star Wars, we should give this one a chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But again, there's a lot to say about the first person defending that getting that curse off of the belt.
True.
So, I don't know who I might vote for. I'm between Chance and Chandra. Those are my two.
Those are my
two
two
that
as
I'm
well.
flip-flopping between. So I'll think about it, and when I submit my ballot, it'll be one of those two.
Team of the year. Didn't we skip one too? We should go back to
Yeah,
that.
it's singles player of the year.
Whoops. Team of the year. Odd Couple. Shazam. Final Exam. Corruption. Founding Fathers. It's hard with these ones
It's
because
hard.
it's like you just like, well, Odd Couple got the belt, so
Yeah, and they tore through the tournament.
that's true.
And they went on, and when they were on fire, were they on
were.
fire?
It's not like they had the belts and were just kind of waiting in the wings. No shade to the belt holders, but
Yeah.
that's just kind of the curse of having
Yeah.
a belt.
And Shazam had a really good year too.
Yeah.
So this is one, I think between the two, I'm saying either Shazam or Odd Couple.
I would agree.
And recency bias says, and they hold the title, it's Odd Couple. But
Yeah.
again, I'm ping ponging back and forth. I got to compare.
because they were both they were
Shazam.
both on fire in their
Yeah.
own respects at some points
Yeah,
during the year.
yeah. And again, if Shazam doesn't blank on that 5-pointer, are we even having this conversation?
Another good question.
So it's one of those where it's like I gotta look at their entire season, see how they both did. But right now, I'm jumping back and forth between Odd Couple and Shazam.
Word.
So we'll see where I end up. Singles player of the year.
Player of the year.
Oh, did we get to singles player of the year yet?
No, but player of the year was the one we skipped over.
We'll go with singles
We'll
player of the
come
year.
back to
Yeah.
that. That does seem like a,
Yeah.
Singles player of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Collins, Dan Murrell, Jeff Snyder, Liz Shannon Miller, Ethan Irwin.
These are all good.
They're all good, but I do believe it's Adam
Adam
Collins.
Collins. Yeah, just it's like, oh yeah, he won the tournament and he's a belt holder, so it's automatic. But it's like also look who he went through.
And look how he accomplished it. How many of those were TKOs over people that he should not have beaten?
Yeah, exactly. So and also
quotes.
yeah, and also I would also say the other one that I would consider is Jeff Snyder.
Yeah,
Because he won some matches that he wasn't supposed to win.
sure.
Yeah, and he just came up short
Yeah.
against Collins. So I'm saying Collins for right now, but I could be easily swayed to vote for Jeff.
Yeah,
So-
I just have a hard time fighting against the 7-0 singles record.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. And the title.
and the title.
Yeah.
So
Player of the
Player
year.
of the year, and I think that wraps up the awards.
Yeah.
Player of the year: Jeff Snyder, Adam Collins, Dan Murrell, Chance Ellison, Andres Cabrera. So all divisions covered from Player of the Year.
Yeah. So I'm bouncing back and again, same as the last conversation we just had.
Yeah.
I'm bouncing forth between Collins and Snyder.
I agree.
Just because Jeff went on an amazing run in the singles tournament. He has the team's belt.
Yeah, it's kind of the same discussion we just had.
But Collins, look at what he did in his rookie season. I mean,
That's
and this is the
insane.
argument that somebody said that I think it was Virtual Christian that brought up. It's like, look at Jeff Snyder's legacy. It's like, I'm not talking about the man's legacy. You look at legacy, yeah, he's an amazing player. But this
Yeah.
season,
Yeah, because if you're talking about legacy, there's certain names that are always going to win, always.
yeah,
Like if Dan Murrell's in the conversation, yeah,
course.
he's always going to win Player of the Year if we're talking legacy. But if we're talking Schmoedown Awards 2020 Player of the Year, it's not really fair to be like, well, look at Dan Murrell, he's the GOAT. Like
Yeah.
he is,
yeah,
but that would just mean that he's always going to win.
Yeah.
Is the point I'm trying to make. So yes, legacy is important. However, we're talking about this year.
and Collins just
And Collins ripped through everything
and
and
I've-
probably broke many a bracket.
Yeah, and we've said it before on the show in previous episodes. Collins is player of the year. Chance has a good argument. Jeff has a good argument, but Collins one loss to his record
In teams.
in teams. So
Won a free for all. Like, what are you doing? Who are you? What
so
lab
I think
did Shannon make
for
you
me
in?
it's almost a no-brainer. Although the rest of the people on this list, you have some pretty good arguments.
Yeah.
But it's a clear cut. Just give him the award.
Yeah.
It's Collins.
If this was an in-person award show, Collins would need more hands to carry all of his Slice awards.
Yeah, with that belt on his shoulder.
With the belt on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
that's all
we
the
got them all.
categories. We ran a little bit longer than I wanted to on those.
Whoops.
But so let's. I don't want to spend too long on this because I don't know how much we can talk about like who's going where. But I would like to go faction by faction.
Yeah.
To see like just who we think will be the 3 that they sign, because it's hard to figure out who goes where in the draft.
Yeah, because honestly, I'd like to have this conversation. I'd like to put it on hold. I'd like to have a conversation of who I think's going where after we hear who's signing where.
About the draft?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go. So
because I'm terrible at being like, well, I don't know. I think this person might sign this person. Like anything could friggin' happen right now. So I'd like to know who signs, and then we can make our
draft
predictions about whoever's still left over.
Yeah. So, but looking at the factions, Burning Droogs no longer a team.
Yeah.
So,
whoops.
Whoops. So there's only eight factions this season.
So all those people are very free agents unless somebody signs them.
So let's go to the dungeon.
Oh
my God.
Where they at? Okay.
So they're all the way. So looking at the dungeon, I mean, I think the top 3, you got to keep Parker. That's a no-brainer.
He's gonna have a lot to prove.
Mm-hmm. Especially I think he's gonna come back hungry for that, because all that talk about him last season is like, oh man, automatic IG champ. And then you get knocked out in the second round of the tournament.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have a lot to say in this one.
He's gonna have a chip on his shoulder, as everyone says.
And then the next 2 picks, especially with Kevin Smets not competing next season.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but he's probably gonna be around to advise whatever.
Possibly.
I mean,
I think with the improvement that we've seen, Eric Zipper might be a lock.
Zipper might be a lock.
Because we have seen significant improvement with him.
Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know, maybe you keep Video Drew.
Maybe.
Because
there's some names here that we really did not see a lot.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe he goes out into free agency. He's like, all right, I'm locking Parker, and then I'm looking elsewhere.
Right.
And then maybe I'll try to get these other people that I want to stay loyal to in the draft.
Right.
So the only one that I see for sure him keeping is Parker.
Agreed.
And if Smets was there, do you whine and deal it again?
Oh no! If Smets was in the conversation, he might even take both of them.
Yeah.
But circumstances are such that Kevin is not going to be available.
The only no-brainer I would say for the dungeon is Parker.
I agree.
I want to jump over to other people, because obviously we already know who Corruption's keeping: Collins, Chance, and Mike Kalinowski. They're gonna have to.
No surprise there.
She's gonna have to wheel and deal to keep her 2 ladies that she wants. Mm-hmm. I don't think she gets any of them.
I don't think that there's any chance she gets both of them. I think there's a slight chance she gets one of them, and a decent chance she gets none of them.
She's gonna have to give up a lot to keep one of those players.
And do you want to play that game of putting all of your eggs into a couple baskets?
Yeah.
Not to take away from those ladies and their talents, but I mean, if you look at John Kaiser, he put all of his eggs into certain baskets, and it didn't really turn out well. So do you take that chance and go, well, I at least want this, and then whatever happens with the rest of it?
Yeah.
Or do you kind of plan for the future and go, well, might not get them, so here's who I am looking at.
And if that made any sense. If you do give up a lot for one of them, I mean, you have to take Marisol, right? She plays in 2 division. Laura only plays in 1.
Right.
But she has an automatic match to begin the season off.
True.
So I don't think she gets either of them.
I think she might get 1.
And if she does get 1, she's gonna have to give up her first and second round pick, and don't pick till the 3rd round. That's
Probably.
a lot. Unless you can find some way to get a sign and trade to have, hey, you talk to another manager, like, get them to sign with you, and then I'll trade you.
And honestly,
that's the only way she keeps one of them.
Honestly, I think all these managers are smart. Mm-hmm. I think they're very invested. I think they're very competitive.
Yeah.
Seeing what Shannon did this year, I think that any manager out there that would give her either of those 2 ladies would be a fool.
It would be a foolish move, because
you'd be a fool, I think, to give her ammunition back.
Yeah, because everybody's gonna be gunning for Corruption next season.
Yeah.
At the top of the mountain, they have the singles champion.
Yep.
Why give them any ammunition?
You don't want Deception to be put back together. You don't want her to have Laura Kelly, who has a number 1
contender
like
shot.
a shot for a number 1. No,
she
it is number 1 contender.
Is a number 1 contender shot.
So you don't want to give her ammo right on back.
Exactly.
So I think they'd be fools to make trades.
You can threaten me all you want. I'm not giving you these players.
Yeah.
So
what
it's
are you gonna do?
Yeah. So I
You
think
harass me on Twitter?
It's very unlikely she can get both. It's possible she can get one.
Possible she'll get one, but I think
gonna
it's
be
more
very-
likely she'll get none
Yeah.
if these managers are playing safe. But maybe they will take them knowing that she's going to have to really give them a lot.
Yeah.
Because, that could
Yeah.
be their collateral, their, not
Yeah.
blackmail, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I want to jump over to another kind of like no duh team, and the team formerly known as the Rockstars, now just Stars.
Stars.
So no,
Isn't Stars a TV network? Are they going to run into trouble with that?
maybe I don't know, but I mean, no brainer. You signed the Odd Couple and Alex Damon.
Yes.
That's a no brainer, and
Yeah.
and I've heard somewhere that people are talking to Alex Damon, but like I think Alex is very loyal to Roxy.
Yeah.
So and as are the Odd Couple, but that's a no brainer. It's like
I think it's pretty much a no-brainer.
two titles right there. Keep them. So and we'll see what she does in the draft. I think another team that I want to jump over to is probably
Swag.
Swag is probably the next sort of no duh. Unless he wants to, because Oyama, I think
It's not really a no duh. He's got some decisions to
he
make.
does, but like I think a no duh is you keep Chandru.
Well, yeah, that's a no duh.
You want to try to keep Paul Oyama, and then I said this last time. Maybe let Lon go, and then team him up with Liz Shannon Miller, and that's your three, and create a new team.
If you even get Liz Shannon Miller.
Exactly. So, because there's words around that she might go somewhere else, because Ethan Irwin's out there and they have a history together.
Oh, that's
and maybe
true.
they might want to team up.
That's true.
So there's so many balls in the
Ooh,
air.
that would be an interesting team.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But
They might
I'll
have
get
some
to
good chemistry.
But like, who knows who is three? But I think his no doubt number one signing is the IG champ. That's a no doubt for him. But then you have.
I think Oyama is another.
Yeah, you have to
obvious one.
try to sign him, but I've been hearing that he's been talking to other people.
Oyama? Mm-hmm. Oh boy,
You know,
spicy.
I've heard that Ben Bateman's been giving him calls
Oh,
about a possible
Ben
team
Bateman is a busy little bee,
up. Oh yeah, he's been talking to plenty of people.
as he's known to do. I
Yeah.
think.
And then you have the Quirky Marks, who is another no duh is keep Shazam.
Yeah.
But then that third spot is interesting because
Assuming he sticks. Assuming we're assuming
Mm-hmm.
that they're going to go to sign people that are already on their faction, which
Yeah.
I don't. It's not going to happen 100% of the
yeah,
time.
and also people always forget that like, oh yeah, they're keeping these people, right? It's like not necessarily. The player has to agree to play for you.
Exactly.
So you can offer all you want. And it's like, no, this person, I was talking to this person, I want to go with them.
Yeah.
It's like, whoops.
I think there's going to be a lot of surprises.
There
because
will be.
The caveat to what we're doing right now is we're kind of just looking on your own roster, who are you going to sign from your current roster?
Yeah.
And it's just, that's not
And
going to
it's
happen a lot of the time.
It's not
I think.
100% they're going to play for you.
Yeah, they have to agree.
But for the Mercs, I mean, you signed Brendan Meyer and,
I'm thinking-
and Bibiani.
I'm thinking Mark Kanopic.
Yeah, but then also I hear that like Mark Kanopic and Dan Murrell are, they're in a relationship.
Well,
They might be a package deal. So wherever Dan goes, maybe Mara follows.
oh,
So, and
maybe
again,
Dan will be a Merc. Well, yeah, well,
who do you give up at that point? Do you give up Brendan Meyer, who's a strong player?
you can't break up Shazam.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
Oh, no.
so
'Cause
that third spot might be interesting. Do you try to like,
Because Dan Murrell's going to be a hot little potato.
Yeah.
He's going to be going quick.
and do you sign Kevin Smith, who's 2-0, and who has a lot of pull? I would say in the Schmoedown because the name will get you matches.
Honestly, I don't.
That's a risk because
I think
how
it's a risk.
committed will Kevin Smith be to this next season, especially with COVID might die down next season. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. Who knows where we'll be with COVID, and if COVID isn't a thing next year, do we even see Kevin Smith because he's got other things he's got to do?
Who knows?
We've had that conversation before, so that third spot for the Mercs is interesting.
I know. If we're talking just who's on his roster right now, Mark Kanopic, but anything is
Everything
can and will happen.
Or do you take a risk with Star Wars and keep Joseph Scrimshaw?
I don't know. I feel like if you have some, well,
'Cause Scrimshaw is-
Mara is a
yeah.
one division competitor, right?
Yeah.
Because I was just gonna say, well, you don't want to take a risk on a one division, and Mara's a one division.
But when you
so-
say one division player and the name coming up goes, do you want to sign Joseph Scrimshaw?
yeah,
I mean, people might look at it like, dude, the dude's 1-4, but like, that's a record that does not reflect who he is and what kind of competitor he
he's
is.
the most shining example of a record that does not reflect your talents.
Because like, he's just run into some tough competition.
Yeah.
All of his losses are to people that either have held the belt or have competed for the belt or are going to compete for the belt.
Right.
So like this next tournament is going to be interesting because of his record. He's probably going to get a quote unquote gimme match, and then he might run through his side of the
That's
bracket.
what he said at the end of this tournament, right? He was like, just give me some rookie I could beat up on. Or something like that.
Yeah, so he might get a favorable match this next tournament
Who
and
knows?
then run through his side of the bracket.
Who knows? But yeah, because I was just going to say, but he's only one division, but so is Mara.
Yeah.
So my argument doesn't hold water. So I don't know.
So who knows? Joseph might sign with somebody, or he might just end up at the mercy of the draft. So I'm gonna go over to let's see. Let's go with the current fashion. Well, I'm no longer on this fashion because I'm a free agent. Let's go to the exchange. So the only for sure right now is Roca.
Right. Thanks to the last
Yeah.
thing in Spectacular.
Last thing that happened in Spectacular, Roca is the key point of this faction now. He's
After an entire season of hinting at leaving, now he's
the only
number 2 in command.
He's the only for sure because, and again, like everybody assumes it's going to be Roca, Barbarian, and me.
That's true.
Barbarian has been vocal that he says he doesn't like the treatment of Dan Murrell, and he's been talking to other managers. I will say that I've had speaks with people.
Speaks.
So it's not a for sure where I'm ending up. The safe bet is the exchange.
It's not a safe bet for anybody.
Yeah.
But Mike, Chance, and
Yeah,
Adam.
it's not for sure because who knows? Somebody might come to me with an offer that I just can't refuse. Movie trivia.
If you have
Who
a
knows?
boy child, maybe a masculine child.
Yeah, so it's not for sure that I'll end up at the exchange, but it is the safe bet.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. Who knows? But like, yeah, again, the obvious is Barbarian, me, and Roca.
Yeah, I feel like any of these like prediction threads I've seen anywhere where people are making predictions for each of the factions, I feel like 100% of the time those are the 3 names that pop up for the exchange.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So and if that's the case, then Roca Barbarian team.
That'll be fun.
That's a fun team.
2 very different but very strong energies.
Yeah.
So that could be fun.
So the next one I want to know is the suspects. So this is interesting. This is very, very interesting because the automatic no duh keep him Ethan Irwin.
Yes.
After that, Andrew Guy maybe.
Because people were saying maybe not Andrew Guy because wasn't the decision made that really teams is kind of going to be a back burner until we get back in the studio.
Exactly.
I'm not sure exactly what's happening there.
And Andrew Guy has been vocal about how he doesn't like playing in singles.
But
I mean,
then because he doesn't necessarily have to be competing to be a part of the storyline.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, well, if
Yeah.
he favors teams and teams isn't really, it's kind of up in the air.
Yeah, and this is a team where he wasn't really looking at the specialty divisions. Like, when I say he, I mean Sam. Like, with a whole lot of like attention was put towards it because like his IG player was Jen Kemp.
And his Star Wars player, Molly Damon, he didn't pick her up until free agency.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so I think he might look towards those specialty divisions differently this season. Maybe because I've been saying Ethan Irwin and try to get Dan Murrell. Can you imagine an Ethan Irwin Dan Murrell team?
That'd be
and
rough.
then if Murrell and Kanopik are a package deal, then you get your IG player who has an automatic title shot to begin the season. So that's who I
And then
think
imagine if next year that means Mara Kanopik obviously is an IG. Imagine if that happened and you got Mara Kanopik, you're probably, starter for IG.
Yeah.
And then imagine if next year is the time that Dan decides to make the jump in IG and you got the 2 of them living with each other, and practicing with each other.
And the fact that they're a package deal, studying for IG and everything will be easy for them because they live together.
Exactly.
So I think that'd be an interesting 3 to see Ethan Irwin, Dan Murrell, Mark Kanopik because you cover both singles and teams and then you wine and dine. And he has he's a very favorable pick in the second. And your availability for what Star Wars players are available, and especially with these Dragon Con people coming in,
right?
And we'll get to that when we get to the draft conversation.
Right.
You don't really have to sign a Star Wars player, and you can get some really high value picks with a second pick at the draft.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be an interesting 3. The one faction and the last faction that I think we have to talk about that has the most interesting scenario. And this team could look completely different is the Den.
Yeah, I agree.
The Den, because she said she's going to tear it down and start fresh.
Yeah, Kate Mulligan, not Chicago Kate.
Yeah, Kate Mulligan is out for blood this next season.
Yeah, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, because her roster right now consists of Alex Marzonia, Ben Goddard, Brett Sheridan, James White, Paul Preston, Rachel Silvestrini, Saul, Sean Sullivan, and Tom.
And
there's
Vanessa Fitzsimmons.
Fitzsimmons. Did we see her in this season?
I don't think she competed.
Yeah.
She's from Late to the Party. I don't think we saw her compete.
Yeah. There's been rumors that Tom is retiring. So, and also there's another rumor out there that Clark Wolf is coming out of retirement.
Where are we hearing
I'm
this?
just hearing these things on shows and on Twitter. But there is a rumor that Tom is retiring. So, because if you're looking at a roster and saying, all right, we need 3 that we're going to keep, Paul Preston didn't have the best season this past season, but he's going to be a player that's going to look and improve himself.
He's a big name. He's going to have another chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
as you
Tom and
say.
Paul would have a chip on their shoulder to prove themselves, because when the draft happened, she's like, I'm putting Tom and Paul together. Like, oh my God, automatic champions right there.
I feel like I'd be going trying to sign Ben Goddard because you got yourself a 3-division competitor
Exactly.
who showed a lot of promise.
Yeah, exactly.
We just saw more of him in like the first half of the season. So I feel like if I were Kate and I'm looking at my current roster, I'm probably going to be pursuing Ben.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe she says, no, I'm not signing any of those players. I'm going to go, because we said it before, the first domino to fall is where Dan Murrell goes. Once Dan Murrell goes, then it's going to be like
A bloodbath.
just a bloodbath, signing after signing after signing. But like the first 2 that I think everybody's paying attention to, Dan Murrell, Ben Bateman.
Yeah.
And they could end up in the same place.
That would be crazy too.
They can be put together
They could
on
be
a team.
Yeah.
So who knows to say that she's whining and dining and saying, hey, I'll sign this other player to team you up. Maybe she's like, hey, I'll steal Irwin away from the from the suspects and sign Dan Murrell and put them together. Maybe that's where they end up. So it's crazy, because again, everybody keeps forgetting. It's like, oh yeah, this is where they're going, right? It's like
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. The players have to agree to play for them.
Yeah.
And competitors would be foolish to not to listen to everybody and to listen to what everybody has to say to you.
Yeah.
Because somebody
would
can
be
come.
foolish, yeah.
Somebody can come to you tomorrow. It's like, hey Andrew, I have this amazing offer for you. This is what I can offer you. And it's hard for me coming from a Star Wars player, because not a lot you can offer me.
Yeah.
Because like
Star Wars players.
it's like you can't team them up with somebody because it's a solo division.
Yeah.
And it's very niche division, and like, what can you offer me? But somebody could just say, hey, I have this amazing offer for you. Okay, sure. I'm gonna leave the exchange behind and sign with you.
Yeah.
So you never know what might happen. I think we're gonna have a couple of signings be like, whoa, did not see that coming. I think there's gonna be a couple of moments where either a player signs with a certain team or a player doesn't sign with a certain team.
Right.
That's gonna be just gonna blow everything out of the water. Like, I thought we were gonna get this, we didn't get it, and we get this other thing in its place.
It wouldn't be Schmoedown if that didn't happen.
Yeah, I think signing day is the 22nd of January, I believe.
Something like
it's
that.
It's near the end of January, and I think there are going to be some surprises for people because from what I've had speaks with people, and the conversations that I've had with people, it's like, oh, okay, okay, cool, and because I can't say those things out loud, because I don't think I'm allowed to say those things out loud, but I think we're in for a couple of like treats and surprises and twists and turns, and especially because I believe the signing special is live. Because
I think it is.
The player's gonna come in. It's like, all right, I'm signing with this person, and I think especially for the competitors, like, oh crap, I was hoping this person was gonna go here, because that was
it's gonna be a lot of scrambling. I don't know how I would never be able to be a manager.
Yeah, because
so much pressure.
Especially coming from a player standpoint, because if I was like a different player in a different division, it's like, all right, depending on where this person goes,
Right.
If they get on this team, that's where I want to go.
Yeah.
For opportunity to team up with them. If they don't go where I think they're gonna go, then I have to just like, oh well, I gotta go plan B. All right, that didn't happen. Now I gotta go to plan C.
Yeah.
So, because like there's a couple things that I can see happening with certain players.
I just wonder how many times we'll see, or if we'll see, like one manager has been wheeling and dealing with this one player, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to sign with you. And then signing day comes, and they're like, never mind. And then they go and sign with somebody else, and then that manager's like, what? Like, I can't wait to see that kind of stuff happen.
How willing are players to be able to do that? Because, loyalty is a thing. Because, again, behind the scenes, we're all friends. Whatever, and we don't want to hurt feelings.
Right.
How willing are players, or how willing are they to do that?
Yeah, and I think that's why War is like
Yeah.
the perfect title for the season, because there might be some players that are like, yeah, my manager should come after me because I'm a valuable asset to the team. And then they don't. And they go, all right, well, let me show you what you lost, baby.
Yeah,
I'm going to go
exactly.
over to this where somebody appreciates me.
Yeah.
So War is, there's no more perfect name,
Yeah.
I think, for this next
So,
season.
yeah.
Because it's, how much loyalty do you want to display? How much strategy are you willing to maybe hurt somebody's feelings for the sake of thinking that it's a better strategy?
Yeah.
Or are you like, no, I think I can work with this person. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, because it's interesting that, like, do I have loyalty to this faction, or do I want to do what's best for my game?
Right.
So,
Yeah, because you're thinking from a competitor and a manager standpoint. The manager might be thinking you're not the right fit for my team, and the player might be thinking you're not the right manager for me.
Yeah, because I've had this thought in my head. It's like, all right, where do I want to end up? And it's like, there's so many factors. It's like, do I fit on this faction story wise? Do I fit? It's like, do our personalities match?
Right.
I know I work well with this person. Do I want to like risk it and go here and see if I work well with this person?
Right.
Because I know me and Gucci work well together.
Right.
But do I want him to take that risk and go somewhere else and like and hope and be like, I don't know if it work, and then have it happen that I don't work well with this person and it really affects my game. So those are the kind of things I'm thinking of. And also it's like, does it make sense story wise? Because that's that side of the Schmoedown that we got to think about. It's like, if I go to this faction, how does that tie into the story? Am I going to make things hard for Harloff to fashion these stories?
I feel like that's a lower level concern.
Yeah, but that's stuff that I think about. It's like, because for me, I'm looking at every possible angle. Do I fit in this faction? What does this person offer me? And do I work well with this person? Those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about.
Storyline I don't think is
Yeah.
a huge factor, because you got to make it work anyway. And if we're saying that plot doesn't drive the draft, then it really doesn't matter. It's a fun thing to consider, but I don't think it should be anybody's factor in a decision. I think it should be all about your personal gameplay and the manager's strategy.
Yeah. And also on that fact, again, like I said, we're all friendly behind the scenes. Like, do I want to put on like a false face if I really don't like this person? Which I haven't run into somebody in the Schmoedown where like, ugh, I don't like you.
Right.
There's that factor too. It's like, do my personalities match outside the Schmoedown with this person?
Because there might be Zoom calls.
Yeah.
There might be meetings.
There might be
of some
meetings
sort.
where we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
It's like, do I want to put forth that time to be like just sitting there like, oh, wow, I don't get along with these people.
Cool. I like just staring at you for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Then there's that factor as well. So
Yeah.
a lot of stuff to consider on, and places where I think I might end up. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
The only thing we do know is Mike Kalinowski, Chance Ellison, and Adam Collins.
Yeah. So I think that's all the factions, right?
Yes. And I would also, again, like to submit a petition that Coyote and Cobra get changed to a K, because in my brain I just realized that Mike the Killer Kalinowski and Mike KO Kalinowski both start with a K. Let's get it done. Let's
do that.
Let's just stop playing around and make them the Cobra and the Coyote with a K.
Yeah.
All right?
So many, many more things to happen throughout this. God, free agency is going to last the next month.
Yeah, it's the cold winter months at the Schmoedown.
Yeah, but
we're all fighting for scraps.
Still news that needs to be dropped, because I'm still hearing a bunch of things of potential players that might be coming back.
My sources tell me this, and my sources tell me that.
And like, this is all hearsay. Again, like, this is stuff I'm hearing on other shows. There's other things that people have been telling me. It's like, hey, this person might come back. Oh, that throws a monkey wrench into a whole bunch of other people that because it's only rookies that can't be signed. But if it's returning players coming out of retirement,
If rookies can't be signed,
rookies cannot be signed. They can
what about
only,
Adam Collins? Because she won, she got that.
it's not his rookie season next season.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like this
Yeah.
season.
So
Okay, I'm
20,
there. I got
2021 rookies can't be signed. They can only be picked up in the draft.
Gotcha.
So these Dragon Con people that are coming in, 3 of which I've heard, they can't be signed. They
Honestly,
have to be picked up in the draft.
I kind of feel it'd be a little foolish to sign somebody who you've never seen play in this format before.
Yeah.
So
I think
it works. I think.
In my opinion, I think to take your third signed spot on a Star Wars player is risky.
A lot of eggs in one basket.
A lot of eggs in one basket on that when you could, because the talent pool in Star Wars is so razor thin this next season.
Yeah.
Because look at the names out there. You have me, Laura Kelly, Molly Damon,
Right.
Joseph Scrimshaw, Sean Sullivan, who I said will make an improvement next season, and then Ace Cabrera, who went on an amazing run. That's your top. Like, can you imagine the first 6 picks of the draft being all Star Wars players?
It'd be crazy.
And there is that rumor out there that John Kaiser is looking to sign 3 people and then use the first pick in the draft on a Star Wars player.
Yeah.
So, and I've also heard other places that Star Wars players would be going high in the first round.
Yeah, considering that it's kind of like the 4th pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it's the first pick.
It's your 4th slot on the team, and
Yeah.
that's a slot you need, especially
Yeah.
since with the Dragon Con people coming in next season. There might be more Star Wars.
There might be 2 Star Wars players per faction. Who knows?
2 Star Wars players per faction. We'll probably see more Star Wars matches outside of the tournament.
There might be a play-in tournament to get into the main tournament. Who knows?
And especially with this COVID thing, where Christian has been vocal saying he doesn't want to do teams until we're out of COVID and we're back in the studio.
Yeah.
You've got match slots to fill. Put in a Star Wars match.
Yeah.
Especially with new talent coming in. Mm-hmm. So
there's so many unanswered questions, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I'm very excited to see who signs where, and I think that will open the door to a lot more meaningful conversation.
Oh yeah, and just I think once we find out where people have been signed, that's when because we won't be able to talk about the draft until after signing day, which is January 22nd, I believe.
Signing day.
Signing day.
It's signing day.
It's signing day. We're gonna sign some players to our faction. Hey. Sorry.
Just making a reference to one of the shows our daughter watches on repeat every day. It's called Tots. If you have a little one, I highly recommend it.
It's cute. It's very cute.
She asks to watch it every day. Mm-hmm. It feels like we live with the pelicans from Finding Nemo, because
Tots?
you ask her what she wants to
Tots?
watch, and she's like, tots, tots, tots,
Mine?
tots, mine. So that's our life. How's everyone else?
Shut up, stupid!
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Christian. We will go ahead and move on. I think we'll end the episode here.
Yes.
Yes. We've already droned on long enough. So,
Yeah.
Nicki Dimalanta,
Sorry.
where can they find you online?
Twitter, Dimmy, DIMMMYYY.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Drew Dimalanta, DIMALANTA. Listen to us on audio form. Thank you very much for listening, and go ahead and follow the feed. Rate us, please.
Yeah, and if you watch us on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe, and then hit the bell icon in the corner to see when we do stuff on YouTube.
That project is coming, I promise. I think we're going to record it this week. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, we'll see.
Yes.
Yes. We will be, hopefully.
We'll see.
We'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Beyond the Schmoedown. We'll see you
Next
next time.